Welcome to whatever I'm going to decide to call this, some kind of thrift store find video. I haven't thought up of a name just yet, but I will by the time this gets posted. So, for those of you that have been watching my toy hunt videos, you know, at the end, sometimes I include stuff that I find at thrift stores. Now, filming at a thrift store is not easy because they're usually crowded, loud, and in my area, a lot of them are very, very tightly packed. So it's kind of hard to move around and film and stuff. So I would include stuff at the end of those videos. But I decided to maybe break off from that and make it its own segment. So let me know what you think about this. So I have a lot of items here next to me that I'm going to show off. Word of warning, it's mostly VHS tapes. Like, a lot of VHS tapes. So, and I've come to start collecting VHS. So, if that's not your thing, turn away now, because it's going to... I have other things, too. I actually have one Blu-ray, one DVD, and another item that I'm going to start with to... kick this off with, because I think it's the most interesting thing. But yeah, we're going to get through a lot of VHS tapes. I'm going to try and get through them quick. But anyway, let's start with this. This rock and roll skeleton man. Isn't he cool? Yeah, I thought he was cool when I first saw him. He was on a shelf of like bric-a-brac, you know, like little figurines and little porcelain things. And they actually had him displayed with a bunch of other characters playing musical instruments. So he kind of blended in, but I did take notice of him, and something told me to go in for a closer look. So I did, and I picked him up, and I noticed he's not made of porcelain. He's like plastic. And then I went for an even closer look, and on the bottom, I don't know if you can read that, but rankinbass.com, Funko, LLC, 2007. This is a Funko product from 2007. I think this might predate Funko Pops, actually. So yeah, Funko's been doing collectibles for a while now. But the part that really got me was the Rankin Bass. And I'm like, what do you mean Rankin Bass? What? So Rankin Bass is the company. They made Thundercats and Silverhawks, but they also did a lot of they did all of the, you know, the Christmas specials. They did like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, and all that. And I'm like, why is this guy labeled as Rankin Bass? I don't recognize him. So then I looked it up, and then like the memory came jogging loose. He's from Mad Monsters, which was a stop-motion special, much like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was a Halloween special. They also did an animated one, and personally I think the animated one's better. But yeah, this was part of a set that they did for Mad Monsters, and I thought that was kind of cool. I actually looked it up, and I think there's 5 others in the line, but yeah, he was one of the like the band members of the whole thing was surrounded by the whole thing was about a wedding for Frankenstein and his bride, and he was like in the band that played at the wedding. So this was a very strange and interesting find, but he is very cool though. I like him, even just as a standalone guitar-playing skeleton. I mean, how could you not love him? Apparently, these are very expensive, by the way, too, from what I've seen on eBay. I think I picked this guy up for like $2. So, there you go. He is very cool. He will look good on my shelf. So, I'm going to put him off to the side. I was going to have him displayed in the video, but unfortunately, he's probably going to get buried under the pile of media that I'm about to show off here. All right. So I'm going to try and go through these as fast as possible because there's so many of them, and they've been sitting on my table for a while. I need to put them away. All right, our first Blu-ray, and first and only Blu-ray. Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. It's the Jungle Book from Disney on Blu-ray. I mentioned previously that I try to find Disney movies on Blu-ray at thrift stores and stuff, because typically they are very, very expensive in the store when they're new. They can range up for like $20 to $30, I think. And, you know, at thrift stores, they're super cheap. But yeah, it's the Jungle Book on Blu-ray. I don't have it on Blu-ray. I think I only have it on VHS, oddly enough. There it is. And, hey, anybody want some rewards? There you go. That's on me for watching this video for this far. But yeah, there's the Jungle Book. Not my favorite Disney movie. I did enjoy it as a kid. I don't think it has aged as well as some other ones. Not even my favorite version of the Jungle Book. Look up the Chuck Jones Jungle Book. Because not only did he adapt Mowgli's Brothers, which is what this story is, but the Jungle Book is also a series of stories. So he had a bunch of other adaptations of it. So that was kind of cool. Ricky Tikki Tavi is probably one of my favorite cartoons of his. Yeah, look it up. But anyway, that's the Jungle Book. And the only VHS... no, it's not the only VHS. It's the only DVD I got. UHF with Weird Al. I am shocked that I did not have this in any format, actually. This is the movie Weird Al put out in the 80s. Really funny, still funny to this day, and I thought it was kind of cool I found this, because I found it not long after I watched the biopic of Weird Al, the totally real, definitely not embellished biopic of Weird Al's career, which is also really funny and good, by the way. But yeah, I mean, how can you go wrong with Weird Al? If you've not seen this movie, see it. It's great. All right, so that's that. Hold on, let me move these out of the way. All right, so next comes the pile of VHS tapes. I'm going to show these in no particular order because they are a mess right now. So, but I will start with this one. I thought this was kind of cool. Blockbuster Video VHS Head Cleaner. This is actually a tape used to clean VCRs. So, and I guess this was an employee. Keith Johnson. Good work, Keith Johnson, for keeping Blockbuster's VHS players clean, and I guess it only has a certain amount of uses. Looks like you only use it 5 times, which is good. I picked this up because I guess this is good for me, for someone who has still a working VCR and probably needs to have it maintenanced every once in a while. So I have one of these. I think you can buy these online, like actual cleaners, but I think it's kind of cool to have an actual Blockbuster one. All right, so now we get into the regular stuff. Oh my God, there's so many. All right, again, I'm going to try and go through these as fast as possible. City Slickers 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold. City Slickers is a great movie. I think I've seen this more than the first one, actually, surprisingly. Because I don't know why. Back in the day, they used to play sequels on TV more than, the first movies. But you got Billy Crystal, Daniel Stern, John Lovitz is in this movie. He wasn't in the first one. And Jack Palance as Curly's brother, Duke, his twin brother that suddenly he has. I suppose this is a bit of a cheap cash-in of a movie, but I always did find it pretty funny. There they are. All right, City Slickers. I'm going to build a wall of VHS tapes. Just watch. Okay, this was a good one. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones. Oh, man. One of the best ones, in my opinion. Actually, no, this was the first one. I think Last Crusade was probably my favorite of the 3 originals. But, yeah, this is the first one. Pretty good condition, too. I have to... fun fact, if you're going to collect VHS tapes, always check the reel. Because, and I found this out fairly recently, VHS tapes are prone to mold inside the reel. I actually went through some of my VHS tapes, and I... had to get rid of some because they were not stored well at some point, I suppose, and they just kind of grew mold, which was kind of scary because it was very big and freaky. But yeah, check for mold. I don't know if it's fixable. I think you might have to unravel it and spray it or something. But yeah, check for mold. That's just check for mold. Next up, we got Top Gun on VHS. Very cool. Didn't see the new one, unfortunately. I heard it was very good, though, but Top Gun, absolute classic. Some of these really don't need much introduction. Here's The Jerk, starring Steve Martin. Probably my favorite Steve Martin movie. Very funny, this one. I actually have this on DVD, and I watched it, and it's great. Steve Martin in his prime. I mean, how can you go wrong? Okay, so these next ones here are... I have Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think I have all 3 Die Hard, all the original trilogy Die Hards now. And I also saw this one. This is Die Hard, the making of Die Hard with a Vengeance with this one. So this probably came from someone's collection. So that's pretty cool. Oh, look, and you got this is a former Blockbuster. Former Blockbuster video. Very nice. I don't have much of an attachment to Blockbuster, surprisingly. I grew up, we had a mom and pop video store. And because I lived in New York and we lived far from any Blockbusters. It wasn't until I moved to Florida that Blockbuster became very useful because, well, there weren't many mom and pop places around here. But anyway, next up we have It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. James Rolfe, Angry Video Game Nerd's favorite movie. I was surprised to find it on VHS. It was a movie I knew about, and I know The Simpsons referenced it, and at the time it kind of went over my head, but eventually I got around to watching it after James highly, highly recommended it. So I decided to check it out, and yes, it's very funny, it's very great. A lot of big name actors of the time are in it. This is one of those movies that has to come on 2 tapes because it's too big for the old school VHS. Imagine that. This is why VHS went out of style. Put that over there. Next up, we got some animated stuff here. I have Santa and the Three Bears. I'm always on the lookout for weird, obscure Christmas movies. For those of you who follow the main channel, you know I have a huge animation collection. And always looking for weird things to potentially review in the future, especially for holidays. This was apparently 50 cents at one point. I did not even pay 50 cents for this when I picked it up. But yeah, Santa and the Three Bears. I think I've heard of this one. I'm not entirely sure. It has the film still on it. A lot of people, including myself, I think, used to just open up the bottom and take the tape out and leave the film on it. I thought it was sealed, but it alas was not. Next up, we have The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, Vincent van Moose. I used to love watching Rocky and Bullwinkle when they aired it on Nickelodeon, the reruns. I don't know how well the show has aged, but it was very entertaining at the time, for sure. This one is unfortunately got a open thing here. I could probably just glue that. But yeah, I have some Rocky and Bullwinkle ones. I have a couple of the tapes that want to do that thing when they have like an image on the side where you line them up together and you can see the image. I only have 2 of them though, so I need to find the rest of them. This is not part of that set, but we will include it anyway. Next up, Gullivers Travels, the Fleischer Brothers Gullivers Travel. I remember watching this. $3.33. That's very specific. I remember watching this when they aired it on Cartoon Network way back in the day. This one is actually sealed. A little hole in it there, unfortunately. That means when I get it graded, it'll get a low grade, and I can't make millions off of this. Oh, well. But yeah, I remember really liking this. If you like the Fleischer style, if you like Fleischer Brothers Popeye, definitely recommend that one. Okay, this one might bring back some memories for a couple of the younger viewers. Younger, as in like maybe 10 years younger than me or something. Anybody remember Cubics, Robots for Everyone? This was just randomly in there. It's a weird thing. It was part of Kids WB. It was just like a CGI show at the time. And I don't know if it aged well, because CGI tends to not age very well, unfortunately. What's interesting about this is, as I mentioned before, you have to be careful with VHS tapes. If you're going to buy them used, you got to check for mold. So I checked every single one of these. And then I went to check this one. And I freaked out because I saw something that I don't think I've ever seen before. All right, you ready for this? If you have a bad heart, you might want to look away now. Oh, there's a paper in there. Remove this. Isn't that weird? just for comparison. Hold on, let me get Rocky and Bullwinkle out here. Oh, this also has stuff in it. Oh, very nice. I do miss the days of VHS inserts, but yeah, that's very strange. I've never seen that before. A VHS with no windows for the reels Incredible. Apparently, this is actually a promo tape for 3DO. 3DO is a game console. What's that for? Yeah, this is like oh, this is Burger King too. I didn't even notice that. This is like a promo tape for I guess people that want to distribute the show or something, or maybe just to advertise to people that the show exists, because the internet was not really a thing yet, and this is how we advertise to people. It kind of reminds me of the old Nintendo tapes. I have a bunch of those. You know, the ones that Nintendo Power used to send out when it tells you about the games. All right, well, this was a very strange oddity of a tape, and the thing is upside down. All right, cool. You know what? Let's put that on tops because it's getting off the camera. Next up, probably my favorite movie of all time, Dogma, the Kevin Smith movie, Dogma. Again, with the film. Oh, only halfway up the tape. Why'd they do that? I really love this movie. This is a very heavy tape too, because look at that reel. Look at that reel. Look at that meaty film reel. Yeah, probably my favorite movie of all time. I love it. I love the commentary. I like the characters. I like the interesting story. Let me put the cubic stuff back in the tape. I can go on and on about it. I actually have pieces of film reel from this movie that apparently Kevin Smith has a comic shop in New Jersey, and I have family in New Jersey, and whenever I visit them, I try to stop in. And they were selling little envelopes, like little blind bags of like film reel from Dogma, and I picked one up because why not? It's just I was hoping it would be like a memorable scene or something, but no, it was just like Asriel talking or something. But anyway, there's Dogma. I'm going to put Dogma in the middle because it's one of my favorites. Next up, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Oh man, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Hell yeah, Bad Boys. I haven't watched this movie in forever, but there it is. There they are. Good old school Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. Again, can't go wrong. I got Pulp Fiction. Probably one of the best Tarantino movies, although the people tend to argue which one's the best ones, but I'd say this is definitely one of the more memorable ones, that's for sure. But again with the film, jeez. I don't think that actually helps any. Oh man, most of these are like that. Okay, next up we have The Rocketeer, the Disney movie. I already talked about The Rocketeer in that video where I opened up the Diamond Select Rocketeer figure. I gotta get to the rest of those, jeez. But yeah, it's got things on it, but it has the film over it, so that's good. It's well protected, preserved for the ages. Okay, this next one's very interesting. Does anybody know what Dragon Strike is? So Dragon Strike is a board game. Is this actually Dungeon? Yes, it's TSR. It's a Dungeons and Dragons board game, and it came with a VHS, and this is the VHS, and it's basically an instruction video how to play the game, and they hired like actors to like act out, and they had like a little storyline for it. And the warriors played by Malibu from American Gladiators. But yeah, this was a very interesting find at the thrift store. I wonder where the game is. I wonder if it's still at the thrift store. I'm gonna have to look for it next time I'm there. Here's a obscure one. Joe's Apartment. Sex, bugs, and rock and roll. So, Joe's Apartment was a bunch of like comedy shorts on MTV about this guy living in a dank apartment, and the roaches like talk to him and stuff. And they made a movie out of that. You know what? I don't think I've ever actually watched this movie. I remember the shorts on MTV, but I never actually sat down and watched this movie, surprisingly. I have to do that. I have the tape now. I can do it. Unless it's streaming somewhere, which would be more convenient, because that's how streaming works. Lost in Space, the 98 movie, I want to say. Some people don't like this movie. I think it's all right. It's they did the best they could adapting, a silly thing like Lost in Space. Of course, the Netflix series was very good as well, but this is like a fun, entertaining, sci-fi movie if you ever want to sit down and watch one. Next up, we have Jurassic World. Ooh, look at that. How could you not love that? This is the second one with the Lost World, not Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, the Lost World, or Jurassic Park, whatever it is. It's the second one from the original. This is the one with seems to be Jeff. Yes, this is the one with Jeff Gold. Okay. Jurassic Park had 2 sequels, and they blend together in my mind. So I had to remind myself this is the Jeff Goldblum one. This is probably the better of the 2 sequels, in my opinion, if only because of Jeff Goldblum. But there you go. I have Jurassic Park on VHS, so maybe I'll find the third one at some point. I have Grumpy Old Men. So if you remember from my video where I opened up a box of VHS tapes that my parents were going to get rid of, I had Grumpier Old Men, the sequel, and now I have Grumpy Old Men. Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, and Margaret. Again, it's one of those things, just like with City Slickers, I've seen the sequel more than the original one. I don't think I've ever actually watched the original, but now I have both. They will go in the collection forever. Next up is The Dead Poets Society, one of Robin Williams' best movies. This is when he's a teacher in a school, and he teaches the kids to not play by the rules, and blah, blah, blah. You know how it is. I actually watched this movie in high school because one of my literature teachers put it on. It was very good. I liked it a lot. And of course, Robin Williams is, he will forever be one of the best. All right, next up I have a couple more tapes here, and then I have clamshells, Disney movies and other animated stuff. Next up, we have, I can't believe this is old enough to have a VHS release, Lord of the Rings and Return of the King. Man, can you believe it? Look at, man, talk about look at those, look how thick those spools are. It almost looks too big, doesn't it? Like there's more on this side. That's weird. It's like liminal space. Yeah, Lord of the Rings on VHS. Yes, it is that old. Are you feeling old yet? You should. And this is another one that you need 2 VHS tapes for because it's too big. It's too epic of a journey for one tape. I always found it interesting finding, the tapes that have 2 tapes. Titanic is one that I see a lot at thrift stores, and that has 2 tapes. I think Braveheart also had 2 tapes. I'm trying to think of movies that had to come on 2 tapes. I think the movie Casino, the movie Casino was also on. I don't remember. I'm sure there's many examples, but anyway, let's move away from the regular movies and let's look at some animated stuff. So, as some of you know, I am on a bit of a Disney kick, and I'm trying to collect all the Disney VHS tapes, at least the clamshells, and I have most of the good ones, but I'm still looking for the ones I'm missing, and I'm basically down to the movies nobody cares about. Case in point, Dinosaur. Anybody remember Dinosaur? This was a weird one. It was also during the early days of Disney adapting to CGI, and I guess people didn't really take to it that well. But yeah, I have that. I have Pooh's Grand Adventure, Winnie the Pooh, The Search for Christopher Robin. I have not seen this movie, so there it is. I have that one. I have another Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh and the Spookable Pooh, the Halloween one, presumably based on the font there being orange. That's how you know it's Halloween. Next up, I have Care Bears the Movie 2. It's time for a game of disappearing bears. The Care Bears movies were surprisingly decent for what they were. The first one was the best one. The second one was also good. After that, kind of went downhill. But yeah, how could I pass that up? I found an Easter Bunny Adventure. Easter movies are not very common, are they? Again, always looking for weird stuff to potentially review on the main channel, if I can ever get a moment to focus on the main channel. So I have that now. Here's something not animated, surprisingly. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. You know, for the longest time, I thought this was a Disney movie. But it's not. It's MGM, as you can tell by the screaming lion at the top there. But yeah, like, for some reason in my mind, I thought this was a Disney movie, but I guess not. Maybe I got it confused with, like, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks and Herbie the Love Bug. Because, like, it's kind of the same image from Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. And I guess the car reminded me of Herbie. Like, it's not Disney. That's the takeaway from this. Anyway, El Dorado, El Dorado. This movie is so funny. Like, even to this day, this is another one that holds up very well. Yeah, the Road to El Dorado. How can you not love them? There you go. There they are, being wacky, and there's the natives. But yeah, El Dorado. All right, 2 left, guys. You're almost done. Anastasia, the Don Bluth movie that tried to capitalize on Disney, and now Disney owns it. Isn't that weird? Yeah, but there you go, Anastasia. And finally, the last one. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, I have the animated Return of the King to go with the live-action Return of the King. 2 very, very different movies of 2 very different adaptations, I should say. This was the Rankin Bass one. I find it interesting that Rankin Bass did The Hobbit and Return of the King, and then Ralph Bakshi did, like, the Lord of the Rings movie, like the actual, like the in between movie for these 2 movies. It's weird. It's very, very odd trilogy, even though it's probably not intended to be a trilogy, but you could watch it as a trilogy. Very, very different, very jarring styles. Yep, but anyway, that's my thrift store pickups. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about this. I'll do more if people like them. I haven't been out to the thrift store in a while, but I'll definitely going to be hitting some up sometime soon. So I'll do another haul video if people are interested in this. Also, shameless plug for my Instagram account. I've been posting pictures of my VHS collection on there. Going through all the animated ones first and probably get to some other ones after that. So, yeah, link is in the description. So if you want to check it out, follow me on Instagram. Check out the Library of Alexandria of animation that I'm building in my tiny house. But, yeah. Anyway, that's the haul. Let me know if any of these things you thought were pretty cool. And let me know if you found any cool stuff at your thrift store lately. But, yeah. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Check out my video where I found the treasure trove of VHS tapes. So that video is pretty popular, surprisingly. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. My God, I have to organize these now. Ugh.